Hi.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Do you want to start?
Go on then. So, hopefully it won't seem like a whole interview kind of thing, and we'll just end up chatting. But so my first question is, what made you, or how did you get into Barbershop originally?
Well, I've always sung right from young. So I had singing lessons at school, and I sang in choirs at school. And then I sort of stopped singing for a while when I was at college and having children and that kind of thing. And then a friend of mine belonged to the Mayflowers in Plymouth, and she said, why don't you come along? And so as most people say, you go along and you sit and you listen, and then you're hooked from day one and you just want to get up on the risers. So, and that was I guess about 15 years ago, something like that. So I used to sing with the Mayflowers, and it was great. Yeah. What about you?
So, like you, I've been singing since I was a baby, I think. Yeah. It's funny because I've got like home videos of you just singing away, and my mum's going like, "Oh, go on, sing us another," and I'm like, "It's your fault," and I was like that, just singing all the time and singing in the choirs at school, and it was through the choir at school that I got into Barbershop. So my music teacher at the time, she kind of got a little group of us together, and we kind of sang. I think "Lean on Me" was the first song that we ever learned, and we sang it in assembly. And then she kind of said, when we got to 16, she was like, "You need to come and join my chorus," which was Riverside Harmony at the time, and I did, and that's the rest, as they say, is history. And I was 16 at the time, so we're talking 20 years. I can't quite believe that I've been singing it for that long.
Gosh.
But it's crazy, but I don't think I'd change it for the world. It's just opened so many different avenues in life. It's just the best. Best thing I've ever done.
And we're both tenors, aren't we? So we were obviously singing the high parts right from babies and never really wanted to come down.
I started singing lead. I was lead originally. At school, I was the lead, and then joined Riverside, and I was the lead. And then halfway through, I think we needed more tenor. We needed like swapping a part. So like Sue did the range again, and she was like, "I think you'll make a good tenor." And it was so funny because at first it was like, "Oh my God, this is so high," and then it got to a point where it went the other way, and I was thinking, "Oh no, this is not high enough." And it's only because I just got used to it, and now I would never change. I love it.
I started as a baritone, actually.
I like baritone, but I can't get the power in a baritone.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
I like my tenor. And
I do too. Yeah, I don't think I would ever swap now.
No.
Yeah. No.
I don't think, and it's funny, isn't it, when we get back to being normal, I don't think it's going to take a while to be able to sing, I think, because it's going to be so emotional that every time you'll try and sing and it'll just be, everyone will be in tears. It's going to take a while.
Yeah, I think it will.
Like ease ourselves into it.
Once we get over the biggest parties in the world that I think are going to happen, prior to the singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what made you become a director in the show?
Well, I was in the Mayflowers, so I was in the Mayflowers, and Sarah Gill's the director and was the director when I was in the Mayflowers, and so I became an assistant director with Sarah. I've always been interested in learning more, and I think I learned fairly quickly because it's barbershop style it's a whole kind of technical skill, isn't it? And that's me really, because that's the kind of brain I've got. So I really enjoyed learning the sort of technical side of things and understanding about the sport, I suppose. And Sarah made me her assistant director, and I did the DCP, and then Singsational that I direct now was Somerset Hills Chorus. And it was founded and directed by Cynthia, who sadly, Cynthia died just before or just after actually, I started with the chorus, sadly. And they'd been advertising for a director for ages and ages and ages. I hadn't seen their adverts, and then one day I was sort of looking through Facebook, as you do, and saw their advertisement for a director. And it's in Taunton, so it's about an hour's drive for me, my house to Taunton and back again. But you know, I just thought, well, you know, why not give it a try? So I went along and met the chorus and went along for a couple of weeks, and you know, had a sort of trial period, and then loved the chorus. Ladies, well, you know, you've been just recently,
they are a lovely bunch of ladies.
They are. So and it's really, we're in a really rural area down here, so you know, it was a really small chorus when I joined, and still is, you know, fairly small. We've just crept into mid-size, but you know, we're not huge. And yeah, I love it, absolutely love it. And I think, you know, they're a very generous chorus, so it was a really nice place for me to start, because, you know, it would have sent the fear of God into me if it was a, you know, 100+ size chorus. That would have been too much. So yeah, it's great, and you get to know everybody and they get to know you, and yeah, we're all friends really, as well as it's
the way to be.
I think for most people in the chorus, it's the friendships are their, you know, it's their life really, and my friends and my chorus friends. So you know, it's everything, isn't it? You kind of wake up thinking it and go to bed thinking it, do it at weekends, and then have some time off and do it. And what about you? What made you decide?
So I was obviously when we started Milltown, I was a founder member, and that was like, I think it was 11 years ago now. And so we had director Diane, and then she went back to the States because that's where she was from. And then Jen Carson Fox took over for, I think it was 3 years, and then she decided that it was just, she had too much on, and Millie's was the thing that she had to drop. And then we were just like, I was just chatting, me and Sherry were at the pub, we were just chatting because we didn't have rehearsal for some reason, and we just met up and had a chat, and I said, I think it needs to be someone internal, because I think sometimes if you keep it in the family, you're not bringing somebody else in, and I think we just needed to kind of ground ourselves and have it someone internal. So she said, well, that's got to be you then. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, me? I wasn't even thinking about me, because it never had ever crossed my mind. So I kind of went home and thought about it. I thought, could I do this? I was thinking, you know what, I could. So I applied, and one of my friends, Steph, applied, and it just went to a vote in the end. We had to kind of say what we do, and I think it was like a close vote, but I was eventually voted in, and the rest, as they say, is history. It's the most terrifying thing I've ever done. Totally out of my comfort zone. I am not musically gifted in the terms of I can't, like, I've had coaches who go, oh, that's wrong, do this instead, and like instantly just like change something and recognize something, and I'm like, oh, how do you do that? Or like they'll start talking about like Chinese, that's a Chinese seventh, and I'm just sat there thinking, it goes over my head, and I always think, how can I then be that person that stands in front of them every week when I'm not musically gifted? But it seems to work for us. Like I know when things are wrong, and we try different things, and sometimes I don't think you don't necessarily need to be able to read music that well to be able to know when something sounds good or not. And it worked for us. So it's not broke, don't fix it, as they say. And I've got better. My music theories got better, but it's not like to the level of someone like David Sangster. Like, he's just like amazing. But I'm down here, but it works for us, so I'm not.
Yeah.
And we have loads of people, like I said, Sue, who introduced me to Barbershop, is a member of Millie's, and sometimes we'll go, if I need to know what something is or something was like, I just ask her. I don't have an ego in that sense, that I'm not scared of asking people in the chorus what something is. People can read music better than me, and I'll just ask them.
Yeah, same for me. So I'm I play the piano, not that well, grade 5, and that's it really. And I can hear things like you, but I can't tell you whether that's a, whatever it is, chord. I'm not clever enough for that to scan the music and know what I'm looking at most of the time. But I'm like you. I've got Zelda, who's my assistant director, and she's got a music degree in. So if I need to know something, she'll say, and that works really well for us. She complements the bit that I don't have, and vice versa. So I think if you've got it in the course,
it's always like, when you have a songwriter, someone who's good at writing songs, but not necessarily someone who can sing them.
You've
got someone who can sing songs but not can't write them. Together they kind of complement each other. I think sometimes you can't, like Sue used to be a director, but she'd never come and do it now. Like she would, but she's happy to kind of give her expertise in different ways. And I think whatever works for you is so important, and it doesn't really matter, does it?
And actually, the one thing I like about our region anyway is the fact that people share everything. So you came to our chorus and you shared your knowledge and insights, and I would ask any other director to come and coach my chorus, because it doesn't matter who it is or what level they're at. Actually, sometimes it's about the way they say things to the chorus actually might resonate with somebody who's not understood something for 10 years, suddenly thinks, oh yeah, I know what they mean now. And it is, isn't it?
Be reminded as well.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you go, oh yeah, I remember that being told that like about 2 years ago, and it's just slipped out.
Yeah.
Nice to be reminded that.
Yeah. No, I like that about our region.
Yeah.
What's on my list? So what do you find most challenging about directing, apart from the music thing you were just talking about?
So I mentioned this when I came to you. My main bugbear is attendance. So I really struggle if I haven't got everybody there that I need to have. I get really, like, if I plan something, for example, and it gets to Wednesday night and people start going, oh, I can't come tonight, I get really stressed out by it, because I'm thinking I've planned this, and then I start to worry that it's not going to work what I wanted to do, and then it's so funny because it's worrying for nothing, because it always ends up being fine. So like little things like that. My most challenging thing is I'm a bit of a perfectionist in some ways, and my ears will immediately listen out for the things that are going wrong. So when we came off stage, when we got our 585, which is the score we wanted, I came off feeling like we hadn't done a good job, because in my head I could just tell you the things that didn't sound as well as they should. And I really need to challenge that in myself, that I don't come off thinking, oh, we didn't do a good job, because the judges don't look for that. The judges look for what you've done well, and audiences look at what you've done well. But because I'm being Mrs. Critic, and because obviously week in, week out, that's my job. Like on a Wednesday night, if something hasn't quite gone right, I have to figure out how it's worked, and it's how to switch that off when you're in a performance mode, because that's what I struggle with the most. It's like, oh, that didn't go right, and I take all the responsibility on my shoulders as well. That's my other challenge. I can remember that time when we dipped in 2016, I was just inconsolable, like crying, and like I was ready to quit, because I was thinking I can't do this, and like everyone was saying it's not just you, like we are a whole chorus on that stage, and we lost those points together. But me, I just take everything on, and I feel like it's all, I think everyone's looking at me and going, oh, why is she the director of that course? And I know it's silly, but that just stems from the fact that this has never been something on the cards. It just being a director just happened, and the fact that I'm not very musically talented in like the theory sense, I feel like sometimes that I feel like I'm in this position and I shouldn't be, and I'm always feeling like I need to prove myself, and I need to stop that. But it's easier said than done. Like, I know that's my weakness, but it's going to take a lot to change it.
Yeah. Same, actually. I feel the same.
So I think I'm going to say, I can see that hopefully that you agree with that, and it's not just.
It is, and I mean, I've only been in singing barbershop for a short time compared to you, but you know, I spent the first 2 or 3 years being a newbie and listening to everything and soaking it all up and looking at you know, the likes of Glenn and David and you name it, directing those massive choruses and thinking, blimey, that's a really big job, and then finding myself there and thinking, oh my God, what are they going to think of me? You know, this girl who's just suddenly appeared from nowhere, who knows nothing, you know, thinking she's all right standing out front of a chorus. It's about, you know, having confidence in your own skills, I suppose, isn't it? And that, you know, no matter how many people say it was okay, it's fine, you're doing a really good job, it doesn't matter, because it's what goes on in your head, isn't it?
Up here, that's like, you should have done that, or you can't do this, or. And I think, like you, I'm very lucky in the sense that I'm doing it in front of the millies, like, and I have free reign to make a mistake. So if I make mistakes, I know that they're not going to hold that against me for like forever, because we are such a family. Yeah. And I know if I do something that is upsetting, or maybe I shouldn't have done it that way, they'll tell me. They'll say that wasn't cool, and then we'll apologise to each other, and it's because things sometimes get a little, not heated, that's not the right word to use, but you know, like when you, like, if something, like sometimes I'll say, we're singing this song next week, but you make sure you listen to it and get like used to what it was, and then they come and I can tell that they've not prepared at all, and then you've had a bit hard day at work, and sometimes you snap at people because you snap at the people you're closest to, and then it's like you go home and you think, you didn't need to snap at them. So it's kind of apologise, and I'm allowed to make those mistakes, and people within the chorus as well are allowed to make those mistakes, and I think we have to realise that, and I'm lucky in that sense that I'm doing it with the millies, and not like you said with 100. Yeah. Too intimidating. Yeah, same really. I mean, the journey home for me and the journey up for me, like the hour before and the hour after, actually is quite good, because I used to come home from the Mayflowers and just be like buzzing and thinking about stuff for a whole hour. So it's quite good, because I can drive up to a rehearsal for an hour and sort of really get into the zone and plan it, and then on the way home, I'm sort of thinking, all right, well, that went well. That was really stupid, Kirstie. Why did you do that? We won't do that again. That didn't work very well. Because it's about trying things out, isn't it? Trial and error. Some things really work, and then other things, the chorus looks at you as if you're some kind of alien. And you think, all right, that didn't really go down very well, did it? I won't do that again. But it's, you know, I'm this directing, you know, I've only been at it for 5 years, 6 years maybe, so you know, I'm really a new director, like you. And you have to learn on the job, don't you? You have to learn what works and what doesn't, and there's no quick fix, and there's no one can come and teach you how to be a director. They can only give you tips and help you out, and I've evolved over time. I mean, I'm still waving my arms far too much, but I do it a lot less than I used to. Like, I was like this at first, and then we had Gaynor Schofield, and she was like, small, like, you don't need to be big at this point, small moves. And then at one point she stood behind me to like keep my elbows in. It's so natural to do this, but it's hard because you don't know what you look like as such.
No, and then you do look at yourself and you think, what was I doing? What
face was I doing at that point?
I had the same. I remember, I mean, I do try, you know, keep it low. I've got this voice in my head, keep it low, keep it low, keep it low. And that's just watching myself. And David Sangster actually came and coached me and the chorus for the very first time, because I felt I kind of feel safe with David because I have known him, and he coached Raise the Roof sort of a lot, and so I felt really safe with him coaching. And so he came and coached us the first time, and he coached me and he coached the chorus, and that was really helpful. And you know, he gave me some tips right up front, like you direct very high, Kirstie. And the more excited I got, the higher it got. So it was like directing all up here at one point. But you know, all of those things, if you can do it in a safe environment to start with, it's all right, isn't it? And you know, we're all learning, aren't we? I mean, we're all at different levels, but we're all learning and we're all improving. So you know.
So on that note, for someone who's maybe just starting to be a director or thinking about it, what advice would you give them? Like what's the best advice you wish someone had told you all those years ago?
Plan really well, because without a plan it does tend to go completely wrong. I don't know what you think. I think I would always encourage people to do the DCP, because that gave me a really good, not just the technical and the musical stuff, but also the foundation to Barbershop and the style and you know, the organization, all that kind of stuff gives you a really good foundation. Trust yourself and your instincts and all of that, because like, you know, we've both said, haven't we, you've got to trust yourself, have confidence in yourself. And it's as much about I would never have thought this, but it's as much about people than it is about singing, because actually being out front is it's quite vulnerable really to start with, but actually then you can see everybody, can't you? So actually what you soon realize is that you can see if somebody's sad or if they're really happy, or if you know there's something going on. And actually it's about you know, taking time to recognize how people are, because it is, you know, I mean, I like it when people say it's a hobby, because it sort of is, but it isn't really. So it is a hobby, but we all do it to excess. But actually for some people the chorus is their once a week kind of release from maybe something that's not going well at home or at work, or you know, something like that. So I think it very quickly became apparent to me that you can plan an evening and then something will happen, and actually that evening goes out of the pan. It just completely, you know, if something's happened to someone or their family or whoever it is, actually it's about being able to be flexible and say, all right, well, you know, let's put tonight on hold, this is more important, let's just do whatever we need to do to get through. And I hadn't really appreciated that, I don't suppose, because I was thinking, you know, I'm a director, I'm just there to get through the evening and get through the music and blah blah blah. So yeah, what would you say?
Things. So planning is my thing, that I have to have a plan. I can't just turn up at rehearsal and go, what are we doing? Because it would stress me out, and it would be like, what are we doing? And like and then again, the plan doesn't always go to plan, and if you go off plan slightly, it's not the end of the world. The plan's more of it's more fluid, if you will. It doesn't have to be that's what we do, because sometimes you might think I'm going to start with the ballad, and then you realize very quickly that the energy levels are still low, so you kind of have to switch them around. I used to put timings on my plan, and I stopped very quickly, because I was like, do you know what, no point, I'll just list the things that we're going to do, and we get through as much as we can, and I stop, because you can't say we're going to spend 20 minutes on the ballad.
Yeah.
Because if you like get towards the end of 20 minutes and then you feel like a failure because you're thinking, oh, I've spent 35 minutes on this ballad, but you spent what you needed to. And so I don't think timing's helped me in that sense, because you think, oh, I've got to stick to that time. And not to, I should tell myself this, but not to take everything so personally, that anything that goes wrong, you are a team, and create that team effort. Like my music team are fantastic, and I would not be able to do this role without them. And I think that's really important. You have to have a good team behind you.
Yeah.
Someone that you can just go to. Like if I couldn't attend a rehearsal and I went, music team, can you sort it out? I know that they would do everything that they should do. I think that's a real key thing. Make sure you have a good music team behind you, like your section leaders and your assistant directors, because they're worth their weight in gold. That something's not going right with the basses, or you've, like, say the basses, you've done something before and I'm thinking, it's not quite right. I know that, like, Sherry will go, it's because we're not doing it sharp, or we're not singing it in this way that we should be. Come on, basses, we need to do that. And they'll G their own sections up for a little section, or they'll go, oh, that's not working, that we're not doing that note right, and they'll pick stuff out that maybe, because when you're at the, and I remember it was Karen Bryder, actually, I think, we not had it, she was at a regional thing, and she said, when you're at the front, you don't always hear everything. You don't, and it's really how people go, oh, it went flat then. It's like, from a director out, you can't always hear that person going flat, because to you, you're hearing the whole, like the whole lot together. Yeah. And I think having people within the chorus who can help you is just what you need to have. But just in, like you said, it's more about the singing is second, because if you go and enjoy it, and I am a Millie as well. I'm not just the director. I am a part of that chorus, and I think that's really key. Like the ethos we have created as a group means that we will walk like the end of the earth for each other, and I think that's really important, because it doesn't. If the sound goes slightly, but your expression is like better because you're all feeling it together, that your audience is going to remember that more than making sure all your chords are in line, but you all look boring and you all look like you don't enjoy being there together. Yeah, it's not what people want to see. People want to see a group that is enjoying themselves and having a whale of a time, and that's the most important thing, I think. Yeah, obviously sound is important, but you can't teach someone how to have that, like, oh, be like, come on, you need to work hard with each other. If they don't want to, you can't make them do it. So if you create the ethos where they want to, I think that's you're onto a winner. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So next question, how much time have we got left? Oh, not much. I've got to squeeze them all in. What is your favourite barbershop arrangement? Ooh. It's really hard. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but I absolutely love Once Upon a Time. I love it. I just love the message. I love the way it's arranged. I just think it's a stunning song. Did you sing that? You sang that, didn't you? Yeah. Ballad, and I just. It's one of them. I know it's sung, and I know it's sung to death, but you just, when it's done well, it's a beautiful song, and I think that's one of the reasons. I think of others, but yeah, I think out of all anything I've ever directed, that's been my favourite. Yeah, by far. It takes a lot to bring me to tears these days. And I do love that song, I really do. Yeah, and I've
the only other time that I've really been close to tears, I wouldn't say in tears, I'm a hard sell me, is when Fortuity sang oh my gosh,
just so like could you have pinned it, couldn't you?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, you know, whether it or not it's a good arrangement, but I think just listening to them sing it, I haven't even said what it's called, and to be honest, I couldn't tell you because I've forgotten. But you know the one I mean. Yeah, just hearing that sung. But yeah, I'm quite a hard sell, me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I
think it's the director and us partly. I think we're not critical, that's not the right word to use, but because you listen with a critical ear all the time, it's hard to get out of that, get out of your head sometimes. When you're watching a performance, even though you are enjoying it, there's a part of your brain going, oh, that wasn't like quite what I want it to be, or that wasn't quite what, and it's an awful way to be, but because you're so trained in doing it.
Yeah,
I think I can never just get into the moment of the performance, and I think that's why I very rarely cry at performances either.
Yeah. Look, we sound like hard,
really hard people.
Really not. Just it does take a lot for me to be, you know, put on a Christmas movie and I'll cry all the time. But yeah. And I like the one I do. It's not a barbershop arrangement. It's just occasionally I just have to go back and listen to it because I listen to this from start to finish and I just think, oh my God, that's amazing. And that's Ringmasters singing Notre Dame.
It's phenomenal.
I have to, sometimes I just put it on. If I'm sort of lying in bed and I think I need something to listen to, so I'll just put it on and listen to it. I think that's just like crazy kind of.
It's not human.
It's not, is it? I'm sure they are robots, aren't they? Yeah, I like to listen to that one over and over again just because I do. I'm amazed by it. Yeah.
I also I love is it OC Times? They sing Sold. I love that.
Yeah.
Such a fun song, but it's just like wow at the same time.
The other one that I listen to is Signature singing Dance with My Father Again. that one. But that's that's not, you know, again, it's not barbershop, is it? But pretty nice anyway. So my next question, what's been your best moment as a director?
Oh, my best moment. Got so many. Just mine goes. I had because I had that question as well, and I'm like, I had loads in my head, and now they've just gone to the wayside. I can't think.
All of them. All of them.
It's hard because obviously winning and getting those medals and becoming obviously the small chorus champions is just amazing, and getting to Harmony Classic feels amazing, but it's the little stuff. So it's the comments that we get off people saying, oh, you look like you're having a ball. People say, oh, I wish I lived closer to you so we can come and sing with you. It's that kind of stuff that it matters more, and like I said, the ethos that we have, and the just the fun times that we have so many like retreats and things where it's just the biggest laugh that you've ever had, and those are the things that will like stay with you for a long time. But there's just every moment, because I think I'm cheesy, but there's so many moments that I just think, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I get to be a member of this chorus and I get to lead them, and I get to just like see them blossom and see them grow, and that in itself is kind of the greatest achievement, because I can't but I thank my lucky stars that I get to do that, because I can't quite believe it. One of the best moments though, we entered North Wales Choral Festival. We've done it twice, but the first time we did it was about 4 years ago. We had a few missing, quite a few missing. The week before that we went to the competition, couldn't even get in the song. Like, it was just a car crash. It was just like, oh, and I think we pulled out the year before because it's not the best time of year for a Sweet Ads chorus. It's like November, so like labs choruses, I find it quite easy because they're already like preparing.
Yeah.
But we've had summer and it's just, and we like not prepared, so we're like, we can't pull out again. We're going to have to go. And then in the warm-up room, it wasn't the best, and we were just like, do you know what? Let's just go and do it. It's fine. What will be will be. We went on, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. We got in the song, and we came second. And you know when you just sat there thinking, how did that happen? And I think sometimes that kind of that little reminder that actually you can overthink things, and we just went, it doesn't matter. And then similar, we went to Spain, and we were just like, we're just going for the fun. We went to Sabs, and have you been to Sabs?
No.
If you ever get to do like you want to, like, we took a year out of Sweet Ads, you see, because we'd been on that treadmill for so long. We just need a break, and we chose to go to Spain instead. And it cost about the same as our retreat and regional altogether. So people were well up for it, and it's just the most fun experience. And we just went with no like a kind of inclination and of anything. We were just like, we're just going to go have fun, because I think like who was in it? Amersham were in it, so we were like, well, we're not going to be at Amersham. That's clearly not going to happen. And then there was like, I can't remember, there was a male chorus in it, and then Sheffield Harmony were in it too with when Tim was the director, and we were just like, do you know what? We're probably not even going to get anywhere near. It became fourth, which we didn't think we were going to come fourth.
Yeah, good.
But we were you've never seen a group of people so happy to come fourth. We didn't have to sing again. We didn't have to rehearse again. We got to drink by the pool. And that it shows that we were buzzing because we were fourth, and buzzing because we were like, yes, we can just drink all afternoon. And we had a blast because it was literally just a girls' holiday.
Yeah.
And if you ever get on it, it's one of the things you've ever done. It's just so much fun. And that's probably one of the top things on my list is just going to Spain and making that decision to go to Spain, because it's a brilliant experience, and I'd advise it. It's great.
I'd like to just go and watch it then, so that I can drink all the time and sit by the pool all the time and listen to the music.
Yeah, the year before we did, I did Quartet, and which is great because once you've done your Friday, you've got all weekend. It's just the most so relaxed. You're in the sunshine. You've got your sangria. It's just the best thing. So
brilliant.
List.
I might do that.
Yeah, and just brilliant. What's yours?
Oh gosh,
it's hard.
I know.
Same,
so really.
To narrow it down.
Well, it's a bit like you, because there's been lots of. I mean, we do have a lot of fun when we get together, whatever it is, a Christmas party or we had a summer barbecue. That was fun. We ended up, Zelda plays the piano beautifully, and she's got this grand piano in a beautiful building, and we were all sitting around and she was playing things and we were all singing and drinking, and it's that sort of thing's brilliant. And I suppose just the feeling when we did our very first convention in 2017 with me directing. I mean, I was absolutely petrified. And in my head, you know, I was all the negative things going on, and my face was smiling, and you know, giving all of the confidence that I had to the chorus. And just that, I remember standing at the doors and just thinking, like, welling up and thinking, oh my God, I've got to get through this whole thing. You know, it's like a culmination of all of the, well, years really, because I'd only ever sung before. So my experiences had been queuing up, you know, in my row to go on, or coming on as a quartet. It's not quite the same as knowing that you've got a responsible job to be doing when you go out there. And I think that's probably the most memorable, but I think in terms of the most fun, it's probably got to be something sociable that we've done, I think, just because, you know, we are friends at the end of the day, and we do have a, you know, a really good time together, socializing.
It's funny, isn't it, because one of the, obviously Christmas coming up, and I like, probably like us, Christmas is the busiest singing season. And obviously we can't do anything, and we usually sing at Hay Hall, which is great, but the one thing that we're really sad we can't do is we sing at the at a nursing home in our community. And it is just beautiful, because you've got all these, like, these people singing who have Alzheimer's and stuff like that, and they just sing along to everything. And it's honestly, we come out like in tears, and people are crying, because it's just so humbling, and to think that that's what music's about. And all the gold medals and all the other kind of medals and all the competitions you've won just go in a drawer. And I remember Mo Field said that to us. She was like, they'll gather dust eventually, all that stuff. It's the other stuff, it's the fun times, social times, but it's the little gigs you do that mean more than these big competitions. And they're the most fun things, I think, and the best things to do. It's just, and that's the one that we're sad that we can't do this Christmas, because all the other stuff is just live. But
it's much the same for us. We're the same. Well, we're in Taunton. We're right in, you know, rural Somerset, and you know, we Runwell Farm Shop sing out at Christmas. We do it every year, so we go and sing in the shop, and you know, and whilst people do their late night shopping, and you know, other Christmas sing outs that we do every year without fail. So it is going to be different, isn't it, this year, without that sort of thing, I suppose.
What's your worst experiences?
Worst experience? I mean, luckily, touch wood now. Luckily, we have never been somewhere and, you know, like nothing's happened, or everybody's looked at each other and gone, I've got no idea what you're talking about. Or so we haven't had any sort of disastrous things. But I don't know, worst thing. Well, that's really difficult. I'm thinking now. That's a very good question.
You can't think of something though, because maybe
it is.
It's quite a positive thing. You can't.
I mean, I think more nerve-wracking than worst. I mean, there's nothing awful has occurred. Just nerve-wracking, I suppose. I mean, we had because we've been coached by David, who I really trust, obviously, and Nikki Salt, who you know, I share a bed with regularly, so you know, we know each other, you know, very well, so that's not nerve-wracking, that's a nice experience. But this year we had Kim Wonders come in February, so for me that was incredibly nerve-wracking, because you know, she's been a director for, you know, eons and knows her stuff inside out. And then there's kind of little old me in Somerset. And even just doing a warm-ups with the chorus, I was thinking, am I doing this right? Have I said the right thing? Just conscious the whole time of like overthinking stuff, overthink all the time.
They always go, don't they? Or just direct something, and you're like,
I know, and
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's probably the most nerve-wracking experience. I don't think there's been there's been some sad occurrences which are always really hard, aren't they, because you do take things personally, don't you? And that's not, we've had a couple of very sad occasions. What about you?
I think my worst thing about we have a very stringent audition process, if you will, because we're such a small chorus, and we've been a good small chorus since we started. We've never been just one of these people who just like let's get our numbers up. It's always been, we have to have they have to fit in with our ethos. They also have to fit in with our sound. And I think like David said something similar last night, you're looking for potential. But we have had a couple of people come who would never have made that potential, if you will, and having to tell them that they haven't got in is probably I'm a pleaser by heart. It's my nature. So you just want everyone who comes to kind of to get in, but it's not always happened, and that's quite tough, because you're just thinking you don't want to be horrible people, but you also don't want to. You can't. I've got 25 singers here who work hard every week, and you can't just put someone in there who's going to mess it up, but it's going to bring us down slightly. Anyone who comes in and knows this, and we tell them from the start, the commitment, etc., and everyone who's ever joined us has stepped up to that plate. And there's been one or two that we've just said, look, you haven't passed the audition, it's awful. I can't bear to upset people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the worst, my worst moments. And obviously when we dropped all our points, but that's me needing to.
Yeah. I guess I've had that. So one person has sadly not passed an audition process. Yeah, so that was quite hard.
You just feel like, it's horrible. Nothing I could do. And it's because I think people don't realise how hard it is to sing Barbershop. It's not just like you can come on a Wednesday night and sing and be okay with that. You have to already be at a certain level, and then we can teach you different things. And we're not looking for perfection at the audition, but it's that potential. Like we've had people that the people who don't make it can't keep their part. There's one person who my section leaders couldn't sing the song because the person kept was just dragging them off so much, and that which I thought I can't, and it's just. And luckily we have we haven't just gone, no, you're not through. You've always given them the option to kind of come back, and they've always kind of declined. But there's so many other singing genres you can do, I think, if you wanted. But people don't realise how hard Barbershop is.
Yeah.
And how tough it is to do it well. Because anyone can sing it, but to do it as well as we all do. And our region's so fantastic. It's just you go every year and you go back, you're just thinking, oh, everyone's so much better than last year.
I know. Yeah.
Tough, but great. It's great that it's like that, but you can't relinquish what you have for people you don't know at the end of the day, is it? Yeah, but I agree. I don't like doing it. It's not something I enjoy.
No. We're running out of time, aren't we? I wanted to ask you your the question where you said you were going to give a cheesy answer. Inspirational women in your life.
So my mum was always obviously my inspiration, and still is to some extent, because every day I just want to make her proud. So she's I became director in 2013, which was the year that I lost my mum. So that was one of the reasons I kind of pushed myself to do it. When Leslie said, "Oh, it has to be you," I was like, "What?" And then in my head, I thought, you know what? Let's do it. Like, let's have a go and try. So definitely my mum. But my cheesy answer is the girls I direct. I honestly, they are so they're so fun. They have me howling all the time. They have my back more than I could ever ask for. So like I said before, I probably couldn't do this. I couldn't just leave the Millies and go and direct somebody else, because I know they won't be the same director. Because they just pick me up when I need to be picked up. They are just, and the work ethic that they have, the talent that they've got, not just within Barbershop. Like I said, we put on different like skits and stuff, and some of them are so hilarious. Some of them are just phenomenal, like the way they sound, and it's just I can't believe that they're my friends. Partly, not that the fact that I get to direct them, that I get to be friends with them, because they're just phenomenal women. Every single one of them, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And like even over lockdown, like so we got a lady Kath she owns a pie shop, a bakery, and we just ring her up and say, can we order this, and we go around to her house and she puts it in our boots, like things like that. Like we got a florist who like just delivers, like if you ask for I asked her for some flowers for my father-in-law, and she just did them, and those kinds of little things that there's always someone. Ali she taught us how to play the ukulele. Like we've all got a little something else under our belt, and it's just every single one of them is just amazing. That's why I said it's going to be a cheesy.
It's not a cheesy answer, because I'd have probably said the same thing myself. And yeah, I mean, we seem to have a high proportion of nurses in our chorus as well. Yeah. So we're, loads of nurses we've got who, they're just inspirational in their own right, aren't they? But yeah, definitely. I would have said my mum too, same thing. My mum has come along and watched me do this for many, many years. And, she's watched me sing in quartet, and she's watched me sing in the chorus. And now she's watching me direct. And now she's watching me direct and my sister sing in the chorus. So and she used to sing in sort of amateur operatic, so I think probably my love of singing's come from her. So yeah, definitely. And I totally agree with the chorus answer, cheesy or not, I agree with it. So we can do what we do without.
Like my mum and dad were always, they never pushed me to do anything I didn't want to do. Growing up, I was never had to, like, I remember at school, and I picked my GCSE drama, and I had other friends who were like, oh, my mum and dad won't let me pick drama, and they were like, I have to pick German or something, and my mum and dad were just like, pick whatever you want to do, and they were always like that. And I think that in itself is an inspirational thing, because I never got pushed into anything. Everything I do it because I enjoy it.
Yeah,
I think that's key.
Yeah, same for me. I think we're very similar, actually, aren't we? Surprising. Yeah.
She did well putting.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did, because similar experiences all the way through. Actually, I was very lucky with my mum and dad are the best. They've always done this as yours. Whatever you want to do, they were just right there behind us. So yeah. Oh, it was really nice.
Really nice. Nice change.
And actually, do you know what? If it wasn't for lockdown, we probably wouldn't have ever done this. So
no, that's true. Actually,
it is nice, because we don't get to talk to each other much at convention or wherever it is we are, because we tend to be with choruses and things most of the time. So it is really nice that we've had a chance to chat.
And hopefully, when we do get back together, it'll be nice when we see each other. It'll be cool. Yeah. I'll have a drink.
Yeah. I'll meet you at the bar.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, no, it'll be good.